Okay, this is the story about how Ashton Irwin put a hole in our kick drum skin. Also, I'm going to start off by saying we love and adore Five Sauce both as people and as a band. So some of you may know the story about how Five Sauce played their first ever show at the Annandale Hotel, and there were only 12 people there. Well, we were 2 of those 12 people, and we didn't play the show, but they were using all of our backline, which is all of our amps and drum kit. Now, that wasn't actually planned before the show. We didn't know them yet. We hadn't met them before, but we did know the person who was managing them. This was their very, very first manager who discovered them online, and he was actually in a band who we were touring with at the time. So he was putting on the show, and he called me and said, hey, I'm putting on this show for this band from YouTube. They're called 5 Seconds of Summer. They got to the Annandale, and they didn't realize that they had to bring their own gear to the show. So they had showed up to the venue with nothing but their guitars, just thinking that everything would be on stage ready for them. And yeah, we said, sure, we don't know who these people are, but we can drive our gear to the Annandale Hotel. So we got there, and the mood, the vibe was not good. They were like a decent size on YouTube at this point, but there just hadn't really been much promo that went into the show. And I think they were expecting a lot more people to come. So when there were 12 people there total, not good vibes. But they were lovely to us. They were super appreciative that we bought the gear. Also, keep in mind, we were all like, 15, 16. They played the show, we hung around and watched, and then they packed up the gear and we just helped load it back into our trailer. We had a show, I think it was the following week, and we didn't have any rehearsals that week before the show. So the next time that we were taking the drum kit out of its cases was at our show on stage to set up. And basically we went to start sound checking, and Kane, our drummer, realized that there was a big hole in the kick drum, like on the pedal side of the skin, which obviously happened during the Five Sauce show, and Ashton just didn't tell us about it. At that point, all of the music shops had closed, and it was too late for us to get a new skin for the kick drum, so we ended up having to borrow another band's gear to play that show. But after that, we got to know each other. A few months later, we actually played a show together at the Annandale Hotel. They used to do this thing where it was like A stage and B stage. There was the main stage, and then B stage was literally just like the booths at the back of the venue, and they would have a band play main stage while the band was setting up at the back. Us and Five Sauce ended up being on the same lineup, and got to know each other, got along really well. I ended up guitar teching for Michael for a little bit. We laughed about it with Ashton after that. Then one day Michael and I were texting, and he said, guess who we're going on tour with? And I said, I don't know, you tell me. And he said One Direction. And I was like, damn, cool, that's big. And the rest is history. We still see each other every now and then when we're in the same country. Still listen to their music. They write bangers. Wish them nothing but the best. This is just a funny little throwback. Thanks for the reminder.